Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Swing Good Torah. Okay, so let's learn about the miracle of Chanukah. Okay, so what actually was the miracle? So we have to go back to the days of the Greek Empire, and after the death of Alexander the Great, the Greek Empire was divided into 4 parts, and the part that was basically ruled from Syria was ruled by this king at the time named Antiochus. And he started passing all these decrees on the Jewish people that basically, like, you could no longer celebrate Shabbos, you couldn't follow the halacha, the laws of Shabbos, you couldn't calculate the Rosh Chodesh, the first of the month, he didn't want anyone keeping kosher, he didn't want anyone to have a bris milah, a circumcision, he didn't want anyone to follow the Taharas Mishpat, the laws of the halachas of family purity, and he wanted to confiscate all kinds of, Torah scrolls and all the books of the Torah. He didn't want anyone learning Torah. Right, so Mattisyahu ben Yochanan, who is the Kohen Gadol, him and his sons, they led a revolt against the Greek Empire, and they fought a war, and it was a small, untrained army, and they had miraculous victory against this huge Greek, the army of the Greek Empire, which is a powerful army that had gone all throughout the world, conquering country after country, and there was this miraculous victory. So then, when they got back to the Beis HaMikdash, when they got back to the temple in Yerushalayim in Jerusalem, they found that it had been desecrated by the Greek army. So they wanted to, metaher it again. They wanted to purify it again so it could be used again for the avodas Hashem. And they found just the famous, the one little jar of the oil, one little jar of the shemen, of the olive oil, to light in the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash. And we know the miracle that little jar, of oil, which you can only burn for 1 day, it burned for 8 days straight, and it showed its great miracle. So what are these miracles? What did Hashem do? What did He show us? And now we have this mitzvah of lighting the menorah every year. So what is it? What is the essence of this miracle of Chanukah? So the Maharal, in his book Ner Mitzvah, which is all about Chanukah, he starts to show us an amazing thing. He shows us that the first half of the book, he talks about the four empires, the 4 kingdoms. So the first of the 4 kingdoms was Babylon, and the second was Paras, was Persia and Media, Paras and Madai, and the third was Yavan, was the Greek Empire, and then the 4th empire was Edom, was Rome. And we see now we live in the days of this gullus Edom. We still live in the year 2017, maybe heading into the year 2018 of this gullus Edom, of this Roman Empire. And this empire, it absorbed all the philosophies and teachings of all the rest of the empires, the 3 empires that came before it. So it kind of absorbed all those, and contains all of those philosophies of those empires. And why did Hashem create these 4 empires? So the Maharal, he explains that these 4 empires, in the second pasuk in the Torah, it says Haisa Aret, Tocho and Bochu v'Choshek al Panei HaTahom, and it shows that it says the earth, it was chaos and emptiness. So the Tohu represents Babylon, the Boho, the emptiness, is Paras, is Persia, and the Choshek is the darkness. It's the darkness of the Greek Empire. So it's interesting because when we look at the Greek Empire and we look at the Greco-Roman Empire, we wouldn't really think of them as darkness. We would think of them as this great, like, intellectualism and philosophies, and they brought all this quote-unquote enlightenment into the world. But the Maharal is saying something very different. He's saying that really that the science and the philosophy of the Greek Empire is really a great darkness. And he's saying that these 4 empires, what they're really doing is they're blocking the world from seeing, like, Hashem's presence in the world. So there's this one infinite being that's created everything, and He's sustaining everything every day. But these 4 empires are blocking that. So all we see these empires, we see these mighty nations running the world and all their sophisticated science and technology, and we're blinded by that. And there is a lot of good. I mean, there's a lot of good that science can bring to the world. I mean, we see the medicines, the vaccines, all the technology, like this technology of the computers and the internet, as we're communicating right here. So there is some good that can come from all this technology. But there's also a darkness that creates a Hester Panim. It creates Hashem, this infinite being, to be hidden from us, and it creates this darkness. And finally, at the end of these 4 empires, is going to be Mashiach. It's going to be bringing the light of the Torah, the or of the Torah, and just the knowledge that there's this infinite being that's created us all, and it's connecting us all, and it's running everything, and we're being sustained, and there's no reason for all the fighting and the battling and the wars, and there's no real reason for the disease. Once we get that connection back, that we're connected, closer to Hashem, closer to the source of all this life. So these 4 empires are really blocking that knowledge and that understanding. So the miracle and the Neros of Chanukah, the 16 candles that we light over the 8 days, it represents the 36 hours of Adam Arishon, of Adam and Chava before the Chet of eating from the fruit of the tree of knowledge. So it's those 36 hours when mankind, which at the time was just Adam and Chava, had total knowledge and a relationship with Hashem, and it was pure and it was unblocked, and there was no separation between us and Hashem, and it was a pure relationship. And these 36 candles are the special light in the darkness that reconnects us to that original relationship we have with Hashem, where we're not being blocked by the philosophies and the technology and the science and just the armies and all this and this great media system we have now, and this internet and everything that's blocking us and taking us away. And you see people are immersed in TV shows and movies and this fantasy of the Hellenism, and we're just blocked from that pure knowledge of just Hashem, that we have this infinite being that loves us and created us and is sustaining us. And if we really feel that, if we really know that Hashem's with us, we're going to feel that simcha, we're going to feel that happiness that we can take on all of life's challenges because we have this great support, and the closer we get, the more. And that's what the Greeks were trying to do. They're trying to separate us from this source and preventing us from learning Torah and experiencing Shabbos and calculating the Rosh Chodesh, which is related to time. It separated us. The Greeks were trying to separate us from Hashem, and these 36 candles that we light over the 8 days, they reconnect us to the light of Hashem and His Torah. And so may we all break through a little of that fog that's holding us back and holding us back from seeing the world really clearly, that we can see more clearly that this is a beautiful world that Hashem's created, and He wants the best for everyone, and that we don't need all this fighting, we don't need all this arguments and tension, and that the world is created that all of us should live in shalom and peace. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great Chanukah, Chanukah Sameach and Freilich Chanukah, and all the best. And I hope you have a great spiritual elevation for these 8 days of Hanukkah. I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.